Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of On Purpose series. The aim of these series is to discuss purpose. Our aim and our mission is to get insight and give insight to help you and I discover and fulfill God's purposes for our lives. We're going to have a series of guests. We've had one already. We have another special guest today, which I'll introduce in a minute, who I'll introduce in a minute. Leave questions in the comments below. If you have any questions, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and let's get into it. Right. So our guest today, she's a superwoman. She has so many she has so many hats on. She is the founder of Wealth from Little, right? She's a wealth coach. She's a writer. She just co-authored a book, which we'll talk about, in a few minutes. She's a speaker. She's a chemical engineer. She worked in cost management. She's married with two beautiful children. Can you help me welcome Elizabeth Buko? Hello, Elizabeth.
Hi, Tasha. Hi. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for agreeing to do this. Like I said before, I'm so grateful. I know you're very busy, and so I know your time is very precious to you, and so I really do appreciate you doing this. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
That's good.
Blessed
That's
and grateful.
absolutely. And like we said, I know it's a strange time to be alive, with the pandemic going on. But it's good to see that you're well. It's good to know that your family is doing well as well, and may God keep us all through these times in Jesus'
Yes.
name.
Yes. Amen. Yes.
Amen. Okay, so I don't know if I've done you justice. Would you like to introduce yourself? Have I missed anything out?
Yeah. That was amazing. That was amazing. Yes. I'm Elizabeth Buko, and I help women change the way they think about money so that they can start building wealth. And that's me. Well, apart from
Fantastic.
that, I'm a child of God.
Mm,
A mother, a sister, a wife, a
yeah,
friend
yeah, yeah.
as well. So yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. A child of God. That's obviously key to what we're about to talk about.
Mm.
Okay, we'll get into it. So, obviously, I did my research. I read your book, by the way. Fantastic. Well done. Of course, I was going to read it. I've checked up on you, so we'll have a few questions to ask you, and hopefully, you can, shed some light into your purpose, your journey. How you got to where you are, etc., etc. So, tell us what you're passionate about. What excites you? I know you did chemical engineering. Does chemistry really excite you? Because I read on your website, I think that you're passionate about chemistry.
Um, in a way, creating things inspires me.
Okay.
Creating things and seeing things that aren't there.
Right.
That excites me. So in chemical engineering, you kind of have to have a mind like that. You kind of have to have a visionary mindset because we face problems, and to solve the problem, you need to be able to see what it would look like in the end
Okay.
and foresee everything that might go wrong
Yeah.
on your way to that problem, and then build the problem hoping nothing goes wrong, but yet foreseeing all these things, you know
Right.
all the branches. So I guess in a way that it kind of tied in there. Um and what else, other things that I'm passionate about is I am passionate about learning new things. I am
Okay.
passionate about learning new things, and
Okay.
and money. I like money as well.
Yeah, we'll come to that. Money is important. Yeah, and yeah, we'll come to that. Okay, so so you studied chemistry at university. You worked as a chemical engineer for 7 years or so. Um,
Yes, I studied chemical engineering and
mm,
worked as a chemical engineer. Yeah,
right.
so
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. True. And then I know you. Sorry for those of you who don't know. Bumi, my wife is close friends with Elizabeth, and so I
mhm,
know some things that might not be on her website. For example, I know you used to make cakes. You
mhm.
bake cakes. Do you still do
Yeah.
that?
Yes, I still do. I still
Oh
do.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yes.
good. Yeah. So okay. Obviously you speak. You're an author. We'll come to your book in a minute. I know you're a Christian. Can you just tell us briefly your idea or your belief in the concept of purpose, in the concept that we are created for a reason, in the concept that our lives are not a mistake, and we are here to do something. Would you talk to us
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah. Um, Definitely. I totally believe that we're all created for a reason,
Mm.
and we're not just born to, by mistake, or just because our parents thought they could have kids,
Yeah.
or um, I know that each and every one of us is born on purpose, literally on purpose. And for me, that had to be true.
Mm.
Growing up, I'd heard it, everyone's born for a reason. You're born to be great. You're born to be. I heard, cliche comments like that, not like they were, and it wasn't like they were said to me, and I received them and I held on to them in that way. They were just comments that you heard in church, or
Mm.
comments that you heard, from my grandma, for example, and you just expect that people like that would always speak well over you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for me, growing up, I got to a point where when I heard those comments, I had to believe it had to be true,
Right.
because um and my grandma, was so influential in my life. She used to pray over me and give me all these passages in John, the promises of God over me, and based on, her favorite book was John.
Mm.
And her favorite book in the Bible was John. Not like John is a book. But I remember when I was young, I felt that when my mom was pregnant, I felt that she didn't want to, not that she didn't want to have me, but it was not in her plan at that point. And so when I was young, I felt that if either she or maybe my dad, one or the other, maybe not them, I felt like one of them didn't want me to be here. And so when my grandma would say, "Oh, you're going to be great, you're going to be awesome, you're so beautiful, you're so intelligent, you're this," and she says all these things, she says it to everyone, not just me, even my friends. She'd say to all of us, right?
Yeah.
And I just had to believe that it had to be true. I had to believe it, because I was trying to combat those thoughts that in my mind that I felt that I heard once somewhere, that why am I pregnant again, or what, or that I shouldn't be here, or I did it, that I wasn't wanted here, or I wasn't on purpose. It was like a mistake, as you said, right?
Right.
And so so trying to pull myself away from that idea that I was a mistake, and pulling myself into the truth that I'm born on purpose and I was created for something in particular,
Right.
which, I know that all of us are, because, God created us, and I know He created each and every one thing,
Yes.
for to fulfill something on this earth. Like
Yes.
when He created Adam and He said, "Go and tend to,
The garden. Yeah.
tend the earth, tend to the garden." He literally, he gave him a job, and that job was to help the earth be better, right?
Yes.
And every one of us, as we're growing and we're increasing, we help the earth be better. We help each other be better.
Mm-hmm.
And and the Bible talks about, if you do this to, when Jesus was talking about, if you do this to anyone, if you do good deeds to anybody else, you are doing it to me.
Yes.
It comes back to knowing that God wants us to, that the purpose of each and every one of us, to love, to take care of someone, to help someone, it's to do. It's always a verb. We're here
To be
to be
human beings.
someone
Yeah.
that is, it's exactly, that is greater than us. It's not just
Yes.
about us. It's to be someone that's going to positively impact someone else.
Yes.
And once you're positively impacting someone else, you're on purpose. You're definitely doing something on purpose, because that's reflecting God's love.
Oh, fantastic. That was so good. That was so good. Wow. Obviously, I didn't know the story behind, how you felt about,
It just came back to my memory because you mentioned mistake.
Wow.
From the
Okay.
word triggered me.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So how did you? Let's go back to you being working as a chemical engineer, had a full-time job and all that. How did you get from there to where you are right now? And then we'll talk about what you think your purpose is, and if you're there yet, or if you're on the journey to finding that. So tell us how you got from chemical engineering to where you are in finance.
Okay. How I got here, I would say one word: decisions. Yeah,
Right.
decisions led me here, and I'll explain how. So
Okay.
basically, I was working as an engineer and enjoying my job. I had no interest in changing jobs anytime soon, or talk less of careers. And one day, 7 months pregnant, I was at home getting ready to go to work. I got a phone call saying, literally, don't bother coming into work today. And that was the call. And I was like, what was going on? And they're like, we'll call you back, but don't worry, don't come in. Got a call back later saying our CEO had passed away.
Wow.
Company is going to be restructured. Most likely, I'm not going to have a job anyway. So just don't even bother coming in unless you're coming
Wow.
in to clear your desk,
Wow.
literally.
Wow.
And so I did go in eventually to clear my desk
Wow.
and to say bye to my friends.
Wow.
But that was how I left engineering. And I was 7 months pregnant at the time. So I literally started my maternity leave
Straight away.
early. And then I went, I did about 12 months to maybe 18 months maternity. And then I started looking for a new job, thinking, okay, I'll go back into engineering because I wanted to earn money. And I wasn't, and that was upsetting me.
Right.
And so I started looking for a new job, but I had become increasingly dissatisfied with the path I was on, and discontent with how fulfilled I felt.
Right.
So even though, I had, a wonderful family and children, and it might have been, just having a baby and losing a job and, all those changes at the same time.
Right.
But those feelings of lack of fulfillment and dissatisfaction made me feel, I would say, a little bit sad at times. And I'd start preparing for interviews, and I'd get through to like the final stage,
Right.
and they'd ask me, oh, any questions, anything we should know. And I'll mention something like, so I have 2 kids and I need to drop them in school by 8. So can I start at 9? They're like, and then I won't get the job.
Wow.
Another one was like, I'll say something like, so what's your stance on flexible working? Because I have 2 kids.
School
Or
runs, yeah.
something like,
Yeah.
and then they'll say to me, oh, you're really great. We'll keep you in mind for the next role. But right now, we think we'll go with someone else. So I probably was sabotaging myself to an extent. And
those are fair questions to ask. You can't, you need to know the answers to those questions.
Yeah, but I guess some people would keep quiet. You get the job first, then you would do that. But I really probably didn't want to go back to 9 to 5. Not that I didn't want to go back to engineering. I didn't want to go back to working in an office away from my family 9 to 5. It's so funny that something that a year earlier I was upset that I lost, now I didn't really want again.
Right.
And so in that break, in that, would I call it like a hiatus, something? I started, contracting as an engineer. We started, myself and a colleague, we started an engineering firm. So we were doing some contracting work, from home. So we were working for ourselves.
Okay.
And that seemed to be working well. But it didn't necessarily fulfill me in terms of, getting contracts and working and getting paid was nice, but in terms of the work that I was doing, it wasn't really fulfilling. And I remember I would stay in my sitting room almost every other night, and I'm like studying. Like once my kids go to bed, I'm studying. And what am I studying? I'm literally studying biology textbooks, because I was convinced that there was something going on in my brain, maybe a chemical imbalance or hormone imbalance or something, because I was in a very good position in my life, in that, I had the roof over my head, I had 2 healthy kids, I had a husband who loved me, I had God in my life, and I was completely dissatisfied and unhappy.
Wow.
And so I was, reading these books, trying to see. I wanted to know, for example, where my emotions were coming from. I know what made me upset, but how did this come to be that I'm so irritated?
Yeah.
And I didn't understand why, even though, I was praying and like, oh, but it wasn't shifting. And so I'd read all these books trying to figure out how my emotions were shifted, how they got created, what caused them to be like what causes me to think the way I'm thinking that makes me upset.
Right.
And then one night, in the middle of all this, I had an encounter in which God spoke to me, and he said, "What is it that you like?" And I remember feeling embarrassed when I said, "I just like money."
I was going to ask you, how did you feel when you answered that?
Yeah, I felt really embarrassed. I really didn't even want to reply. And then the reason when I didn't want to reply, it came back to me, like the thought came to me like, but God already knows your thoughts.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You not replying doesn't necessarily hide the fact that you like money. And I said, and so I said, I really like money. In fact, I think I do love money. And that's horrible, because love of money is the root of all evil. And those were the conversations I was having. And so the reply after I said, I really do love money. And he replied me, "How can you use that for my glory?" And I was dumbfounded, because I said, well, Lord Jesus, if you give me more money, I will pay my tithes. In fact, I'll pay double tithes. If you give me more money, I'll give offering. If you give me more money, I'll donate to the building fund in my church. Like, how do I use money for your glory? Is by giving money back to the church. This was the conversation. I can't use money for your glory in any other way, because I don't have it.
Right.
And that was the end. I didn't even get a reply from that. And what would happen was that about a week later, I got a call from a friend, and she was just checking in with me. "How you doing?" I said, "Oh, well, how life is." She's like, "Oh, things must be tough." And I thought she was talking about my mind. And I was like, "Yeah, she just said she's always wondered how I'm coping." I was like, "What do you mean? Sorry, I think we're talking about different things." And she was like, "How are you coping financially?" I said, "Oh, that's fine. It's the other stuff that's not fine." And she was like, "What?" I said, like, "I'm not working. I'm not happy." And she was just like, "Oh, please, who's happy?"
Wow.
Yeah. But if you're okay financially, then it's okay. And then then like a week later after that, someone else called me and said, "How are you okay financially?" And I shared them how I was doing that. And then then what would happen was I'd speak to someone else, and they'd ask me how I'm not like panicking because I have no job. And what made my redundancy really amazing was that when I when the role got made redundant, I also wasn't given like a company's redundancy package.
Wow.
I wasn't given anything like that. Then also the company had owed me, they hadn't paid my salary for the month before.
Right.
And I wasn't paid that even. And to make it even more amazing, I had invested, as you told, like I have mentioned that I like money, right? But I had invested money in that company, and I was expecting a return.
Right.
And all that money was tied under unsecured loans, so I wasn't giving that money back.
Wow.
So like literally everything just went like in thin air.
Wow.
And like I'm calculating all the numbers. I'm calculating like, because when I got first made redundant, I was thinking, okay, at least I'll get like a redundancy package. And then I'm like, okay, no, nothing. Okay, can I get my salary from last month? No. Okay, anything back on my no.
Wow.
Like the numbers were looking really, really huge. But that's the amazing thing about God, was that, you know, in that season when I'm talking, just, you know, of course, the money that I'm talking about seemed huge to me at the time.
Right.
In that season, God could see already. He could see the end. He's the greatest visionary of all.
Absolutely.
And he could see that even though I was working for a paycheck and I was paying my tithes and I was giving to the church and I was paying offerings and donating to building funds and I was donating to different charities as well. Even though I was doing those good things on paper, in my heart, I really, really, really loved money. I really did. And that was probably God in my life at that point, even though it didn't seem like that, because I was going to church and I was doing all the right things.
Yeah, because you mentioned in your book that you because you were, I think your words were something, I think you may be a money hoarder. And so I guess money had become like a sense of security, you know.
Yes, exactly. Right. So I wasn't like spending it on different things. I was saving.
You were saving it.
And that's how, even when we got made redundant, we had enough. We had enough to take care of us till, you know, for a while. But because I didn't spend my money like that. I'd spend my husband's money, but not mine. But I was
what a husband's for, right?
Saving it for a rainy day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the flood.
And it worked out, to be honest with you. So
yeah. And I was a hoarder, because I saw that money growing in my accounts, and
you liked it.
And it made me feel loved.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think when God now said, how can you use that for my glory? And I was thinking to myself that when I had money, that was when I was using it for your glory. And he was just trying to let me know that, no, I wasn't. It seemed like I was, because I was ticking all those boxes. You know, your pastor says, pay your tithes, and I've ticked it. Pay your offerings, and you've ticked it, and you feel like now you're a good Christian. You don't love it. It didn't matter. Even if I was paying 50% tithes and the other 50% was so important to me, it was already making money an idol. You know, and that is something that God doesn't want. He doesn't want anything above him. And because he loved me so much, because he had he has this unique purpose for me, which even I cannot see, he had to take away that God. And not every, you know, I don't know if he does that for every one of his children, but I'm grateful that he did that for me, because he took that away from me. And it can be painful, you know. You see, it like my daughter loves sweets, and there comes a time when I know that if she keeps on eating sweets, it's going to affect her teeth. So I have to take the sweets away, and it's painful. She cries and she's upset that she doesn't have access to these sweets, or she's not getting this candy that she wants. And I say, no, go and brush your teeth, and she's angry. But 20 years down the line, when she has perfect teeth,
she'll thank you.
She will thank me.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the process I went through. Wow. And then going forward, it started happening. Those conversations happened over and over and over again. And I was you know, thinking about my own self. I was like, okay, so here, what's going on with my finances? Where am I now? And I was looking at that and I was thinking, well, when I was 19, I had a vision of where I would be, you know, 10 years down the line. And 10 years down the line, it seems like I've gone backwards, right? And it seemed, right? And because I felt that, okay, I started investing when I was 19, and I was thinking my investments were going to really take off. By the time I'm 30, I was going to be like this person with a huge investment portfolio. And what would happen shortly after my redundancy and, all those things, losing all those um, expected income and, expected investments with my company? What would happen was I had made other investments since when I was 19 and when I was around 20 and 21.
Right.
And all those investments were growing.
Good.
And all of a sudden, those companies ran into issues and everything crashed.
Wow. How did you cope? How did you cope in this period?
By this point, I had already had this conversation with God.
Okay.
How do I use this for my glory? So he hadn't shown me that more was coming. He hadn't shown me more was coming.
Oh,
So
wow.
I already had this conversation, and when I started talking to people and I finding out, and I'll share with them how I save, and I'm sharing with them how I spend, and I share with them how I invest. I share with them how mistakes that I had made and stuff like that. It showed me that this is how I can give God glory through money, and it became like a huge light bulb.
Right.
And because of those experiences, Wealth from Little quickly grew into what it became eventually, just from having those conversations with one person, then two people, and then I finding that I was repeating myself, and I was like, okay, let me just say it
once and for all in a course or something.
Well, maybe not once and for all. Once and for multiple times.
Right.
But like in a platform.
Yeah.
That was how it grew. And then when as it was growing, I got the news about the other. It happened successfully. So one happened once, then 2 months later, then the third month. Like when I got the news about all of them like crashing, I just laughed. I didn't even say anything. I didn't say anything. I didn't say no. I didn't say. I didn't say no. I didn't say anything. I'm like, you know what? I've gotten to the point where I know how powerful my words are. I'm just not even going to say anything if I can't say anything good. So I just kept quiet and I laughed. I laughed about it because I said, this is perfect. It's the perfect setup for God showing that, He can wipe your whole slate clean and remove everything that has hints of idolatry and rebuild it from scratch.
Wow. I've heard it's funny how God can use that thing that you love, because I've another story comes to mind of somebody else. So this person is a gospel artist, and he was a professional musician. He loved music so much. I guess you could say he loved it. But when God started to talk to him about ministry, he said that God had to kill the love of music, or kill music. So he didn't even, after a while, he was so in love with God and presence of God that he almost lost the desire for music. And guess what? Once he lost that desire, once he lost, once God killed music, so to speak, in him, then God used that same music that he had killed, to and now he's a blessing to the whole world. So God, it's funny how God is quite, interesting like that. Yeah. God is quite interesting. Like, okay, all right. So thank you for sharing that. So and let's talk about what this is I'm hoping that I think we'll probably have to plan another meeting because because as much as when I had the idea of doing these series, the aim was to speak to different people who are doing different things, all kinds of things. But the key point there is they're doing it because they believe it's what God would have them do.
Yes.
Right. So, okay, let's. Can you speak briefly about? Because God is a God of purpose. God is intentional about everything that He does. And finances or money is a key part of our lives, right? Many people don't live on purpose because of money, because they are working a job or spending their time or their life doing something else to get money. Fine, for good reason. We need to eat, you need to feed your family, you need to put a roof over your head, pay bills, etc. Bills are always there. But I think, and I speaking for myself, I know this is this is one reason. Many people don't walk in purpose because of money, because they're trying to earn money, right? And therefore, money, is a key component, when we're talking about purpose. So, yeah. So I was hoping, would you talk about what you think, God's purpose is for finances or for money, as far as let's say, as far as a Christian is concerned? Is that
Yeah,
is that question clear?
yeah.
Okay.
God's purpose for finances. I
Yeah.
think it's to, he wants us to use it as a tool,
Right.
to reflect his love. I think every resource God gives us is to show us his love. And when we use it, he expects us to use it to show his love to
Right.
others as well.
Right.
And by doing that, we're building the kingdom.
The kingdom.
Great Commission talks about, like, when God left and he gave us the Great Commission, he said, spread his word to the ends of the earth.
Yes.
And when Jesus was alive, and he said, the two greatest commandments, love God and love your neighbors as you love yourselves, right? And so with everything that we have, and money is just a resource, right? So let's say you have your time. How do you use your time to honor God, right? And you can do that in whether you're praying or and then you say, okay, how do you use that to love yourself? You can do that by, taking time out for yourself, brushing your teeth or spending time taking care of yourself. How do you use your time to love your family, your friends, your neighbors, strangers? You take care of, you support them, you listen, you speak to people, right? Then your energy is a resource. The energy that you have, that you can use to volunteer, you can use to do things, is a resource that you can use to show love to others and to show love to God. Then our money is also a resource that we can use. So it's just like anything else that God has given us as a resource, that we should use, and we should use them to give God glory. Where money is different is that everyone needs it, right, to live.
Yes.
So because we're now in a system where there's no trade by barter. You're not going to, do something great for me and I'm going to, like, do your children's hair, like, for us to live. Money now is that universal currency. And it's a means of showing that this, the work that you do, to glorify God, the work that you do to improve the planet. Going back again to when God made Adam and he said, subdue the earth, tend to it, right? That was his job. And in everything that we do, whether you're an engineer, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're improving, the world that we live in. You're an innovator, you're in tech, you're in finance, you're improving the world that you live in some way or the other. We should be. We should be.
Yeah.
And so you get rewarded for that. And I believe that. So I believe God wants us to all be rewarded. Just like in those days, when people used to be hunter-gatherers or farmers, they would be rewarded with a bountiful harvest, and they would be able to eat well. And now, if we're rewarded, God allows us to be rewarded financially, then we're able to still eat well. We're able to love other people well. We're able to love ourselves better.
And do it all better. Do it more.
And love God more, and God doesn't need your money. The only people who need money or who use money are human beings. And so then, when God says, if you, when you take care of the poor, you take care of me, that's one way you can love God. When God has already told you in the Bible, plain in English, if you take care of the poor, you take care of me. So then if you have lots of money, you can take care of the poor. But it comes back again, you love others as you love yourself. So it's not like you're going to take care of the poor to the detriment of yourself, where now your kids don't go to school because you spend their school fees on taking care of the poor.
Balance. And it goes back to what you started saying, what your story is. God is, a lot of us, you're not the only one. A lot of us have made money more than it should be.
That it needs to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have made it a god. We have made it a
Yeah.
king. We have made it, the reason why we do things.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand it. Obviously, I'm not. I know I know what I've made money to be in my life. And like you said, God is saying, look, money is a tool. Like you said, money is supposed to do. You're here to do something. You're not here to chase after this money. You know, there are people that we hear it often that if you add value, if you do certain things, the money will come. So it's not, don't spend your whole life, chasing after money. And I guess that's what, is that what you would say to somebody who is trying to say, okay, right, but who thinks, okay, God has given me this idea, whatever it is. It will obviously take time and energy to build and to grow. And for those who are struggling to leave the comfort of a paycheck, or because I read something in your book. Was it in your book or in your book? Sorry, I'm just opening the chapter where you said, and I guess that's how Wealth from Little came about. I'm just going to read a little bit of it, if that's okay. You said, so now when I speak with women about their hopes, desires, and vision for their future, the most common desire is for financial freedom. They want to live a life where they can afford anything they want when they want it. They want to be free enough to fulfill their God-given purpose. Right? It's the same thing. Many people have this problem, they're not financially free, and so they feel like they're slaves to the bills and whatnot, and they're not free enough to do the purpose, to live the purpose, right? So is that so I'm guessing that's why let's go into Wealth from Little. So I'm guessing that's one of the missions for Wealth from Little.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Financial freedom is a big one. Definitely. Most people do want that.
Yeah.
And your question has multiple layers that you've touched on.
Right.
And you first you talked about having that financial freedom to live your God-given purpose, and then you also talked about escaping the paycheck to paycheck cycle, right? And then you also mentioned about knowing that you have this vision, or you have this calling, or you have this idea, and it's going to take time for it to maybe financially be profitable or something like that. And you're trying to
grow it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So in those three different things, like they're same but slightly different. How I would address them. Financial freedom, one, starts in the mind,
right?
Because it's irrelevant of your paycheck, to be honest. I've worked with people who are just low 5 figures, and they are stressed about money per year. They earn low 5 figures per year, and they're really stressed about money.
Right.
I've worked with people who are low 6 figures per year, and they're really stressed about money. And I work with people who are high 6 figures, and they are stressed about money. So it's really irrelevant of how much you earn. All of them are stressed about money. And some of them, high and low, are living paycheck to paycheck. Wow. They have debt, they have stresses, they have this purpose that they want to do, but they can't do it because they're slave to their paycheck, as you say. Right. And so it's not like, okay, so maybe you think, oh, I earn more, and then I'll be able to leave my job and it's possible. But that's where the freedom actually starts in the mind, because if you're not already financially free, if you're tied to, if you're making money to be more than it actually is, if you've given it a really high place in life and in your heart, then it should be in the bigger position that it deserves. Kind of like making the mistress be like the head of the family.
Right.
It's not even on that level.
Right.
And so once if it's there, if it's the master of your life, if it's the ruler of your life on that level, even in your mind, then it's going to be hard to be financial free, even if it's your like multiple 6 figures or low 5 figures. Of course, shifting that cycle is hard enough because it's, you know, the way we think. We are already programmed to think about things in a certain way. It's not reflective of what we are thinking about, is how we think about the things. Like I can show you this and I tell you that it's a rectangle, and you might think, oh, all you think is that it's black, right? And so you think, oh, it's dirty, it's black, and that's all you think about. Someone else might have been seeing the other side and they think, oh, it's pretty, it's shiny or something like that. And then they think about things completely different. And so freedom initially starts in the mind. And by understanding that one, you know, God has already given us, you know, the power to create wealth. Right. And so we have that power. Like it's not in anyone else. It's in God that He has, and He's given it to us. And a lot of people don't know the source of their money. They don't. I definitely didn't know the source of my money. I thought it was from my boss, right? And for many people, the source of their money is from another human being, an uncle, a mom, a dad, a friend, a husband, a wife, a boss, you know, a rich uncle somewhere. The source of you need money, and then the first thing you think about is, who can I call?
Which human being? Yeah.
Exactly. So for many people, they see that is the source, and as long as you have the source like wrong, it's always going to be limited.
Yes.
So like I can you know, I can pour water from my tap into a kettle and boil the water and pour some tea, and if anyone else wants some more tea, they can keep pouring from the kettle. But as long as they keep thinking that the source of the hot water is just the kettle, one day that kettle will run out, and they would never know that they can just turn on the tap.
Wow, that was good.
And so God has already given us the power to create wealth, and and He is the ultimate source, right?
Yes.
And he talks about why He gave us that power, especially when He's talking to the children of Israel, and He was like, it's because He's fulfilling a covenant where He said He was going to make them a blessing to others,
to nations.
He was going to make the children of Israel, and that's us as well. So why is He giving us the power to create wealth? To be a blessing. And I was a hoarder, if you remember. So definitely wasn't like maybe in class like that or working in that purpose. Right. Then further on in Isaiah 48, I believe verse 18, I'm not sure, don't quote me, but He says that He gives us, and I'm paraphrasing, but in that passage, He explains that He gives us the knowledge and how to create wealth. So He's giving us the power. So you have the power to lift up this this thing, right? Doesn't mean you're going to lift it up, but you have the power to do it. You know that you have the power to lift up your TV. Doesn't mean you're going to do it, but you have the power to turn it on. Your TV. It doesn't mean you're going to do it. But then in Isaiah, He explains that if we walk with Him, He will teach us, and my passage, and I don't have it, so I'm not going to quote it, but He explains that He will teach us, and He's going to teach us what we should do, how we should do it, so that we would be like a tree planted by the streams of water that will never, where trees get water from. They get water from the rain. Right? You get water when it rains, but in Isaiah 48, He's saying that you'll be like a tree planted by the river, by the streams. That tree does not ever need rain. So you don't need anything else to get to water you. You have that stream.
Source,
so you're getting your nutrients from the roots, as opposed to from the completely different. It's a completely different way of creating wealth when you're like a tree planted by the stream, getting your nutrients, your source, your energy from the roots, as opposed to waiting for what will trickle down from your head. And so and so when someone is, including myself, when God revealed that to me, and he explained to me, and trying to first, shifting out the idols of money in my life, and then trying to bring it back, right? But so shifting out the idols, and he was trying to explain to me that that he is the ultimate source, and then the strategy is him as well.
Yeah.
And he explains why he's the greatest strategy. It's now and then. All I now have to do is walk in his strategy. And when we walk in that strategy, things just, miracles happen, because he's able to turn like decades to days, literally. He's able to turn decades to days, because God's grace is, Bible talks about how his grace is abounding, so that you can be, and I'm paraphrasing again, so you can do every good work.
Yeah.
So he's not saying some, or he's not saying just the ones that you studied in school.
Right.
He's not saying just the, because you study chemical engineering, you'll be able to be a good chemical engineer.
Right.
It's like every good work.
Right.
So whether things you're qualified for, whether things you're unqualified for, you'll be able to do that. So he empowers us to do that. And then while we're working in that grace. So that's, one level. So, and then so coming out of that, and then to touch on coming out of that paycheck to paycheck cycle, coming out of that, we have to be able to have money. So we know God can give you the power to create wealth. Then he can teach you how to create it, right? And he can teach you how to create it in such a way that you are going to be like this tree, receiving your nutrients from the roots, right? And he gives so many more examples. If you read it, it's not just the tree, there's some more. Then beyond that, when you now start making money, you now start creating the money to get out of this slave mentality, with money, being a slave to money, and to start mastering it. You have to be able to have it without wanting to get rid of it. And for so many people,
I think I'll ask you to pause there a minute. So you need to be able to have it, money, without wanting to get rid of it.
Yes.
Can you please go on?
To be comfortable with having money. So by saying, so you say, oh, God wants me to have this, God wants me to do, and then it comes to you, and you actually are not comfortable having it. And if you're not comfortable having it, then you'll get rid of it. If you've been talking all along about, oh, I need a new phone case, I want a new phone case, and you only say that because you hear people talking about having phone cases, or you've seen other people, you never had a phone case before, and then I give you this phone case. It's not the way you thought it would be, it's not, maybe it's not as flashy as you thought it would be, or maybe it's way too flashy, and I give you this phone case, and you have it, but you don't know how to just be around it. You're like, oh, it's just, I'm not sure. I've never had a phone case before, and first it was exciting. Now you're looking at it, it's getting a bit boring. Is it just going to sit there? And then you're tempted to just give it away, or put it down, or loan it to someone, or say, I'm not going to look into, or hide it, or keep it somewhere where you don't know where it is.
Right.
And for many people, it's like that. I give you, here is a test that anyone can do. Can you put any amount of money, if something that is a bit uncomfortable for you, let's say, so some people will be £100, for some people maybe £500. For some people maybe you have to go up to 1,000, and keep that money in your wallet, in your purse, and go out, just keep going out wherever you want to go, and not spend a penny. For some people, you don't even need it in your hand. You can just, the fact that it's on your card, you just can't not spend it. And here's an equation that I teach, is that if you can train yourself to have more money than you can, and not get rid of it, then you can spend more money than you want. You can spend the money that you want. If you can train yourself to have the money that you want, then you can spend the money that you want. But a lot of people do it backwards. They spend the money they don't have.
Mm.
And when they have it, they find ways to get rid of it.
Yeah. Okay.
And for
Wow.
so many of us, it's like that, So you say, "Oh, you got your paycheck," and you hear the comments. You say it in your head, "Oh, it's all accounted for before the month starts," right? And it's true, and that is a habit. And it's funny. It's hard to see it as a habit because you think that, well, a habit is something you do unconsciously. This is real life. It's reality. So how can it be a habit when it's reality, right? But trust me, it is, because if you always spend the money that you have, you will never have the money that you want.
Spend. Right.
Yeah.
That you want.
But
True.
if you
Because you can't hold it.
You can't hold it. You can't hold it. But if you can have it and keep it long enough without spending it, you will get to the place where you can spend what you want. And it happens in different levels. So first, the best way to start to learn to have money, is literally saving and put money there. And immediately you do that, you will find that maybe your phone breaks or someone calls you and needs something. Or
yeah, I know what you mean. Something will come knocking.
Yeah. And literally it's like a friend call knocking on your door saying, "Hey, so you've got money, can I have it?" And you're literally going to give it to Apple, or you're going to give it to someone else, and you're literally saying, like, I really don't, I can't have this money because something always comes up. But the truth is, again, you asked me, how did I get here? How did I get, your first question? And I said decisions. And the truth is that we have to take 100% responsibility for our lives and all the decisions that we make. Your phone broke, but you make a decision to buy a new one. Your TV breaks, but you make a decision to buy a new one. School fees need to be paid, and you make a decision to pay it. Your teeth needs to be cleaned, and your toothbrush is broken, and you make a decision to buy a new toothbrush, right? So every decision we make is 100% our own. If you decide that I don't want to spend money on a new toothbrush because I don't want to spend money, for example, then you make a decision to not spend money on a new toothbrush, and your teeth might rot, right?
Right.
But it's your decision, 100%. If you make a decision not to spend money on, a new or a particular phone when your phone breaks, that's your decision. And then maybe you have to buy a phone that is not a smartphone, and you say, well, now I can only make calls and texts, and you live with the consequences of that, right? And that's your decision.
Yeah.
Some consequences are great, some consequences are painful, some consequences are horrible, like your teeth decaying. So you make decisions based on the consequence, and you can think about the consequence and say, okay, if my teeth get decayed, that's going to be a lot more money I'll have to spend with a dentist. So I'm going to buy a new toothbrush. If I don't get this new TV, for example, that's what? I don't know.
The end of the world,
Yeah, it might be the end of the world for you. I don't know. So if it is the end of the world for you, then you make a decision.
Yeah, make a decision. Yeah.
And then you live 100% with the consequences. And it's not that, well, the TV broke and you're trying to blame the TV and why you have no money.
Or you had to do it.
Oh, I had to do it. Yeah. I think getting to this place where we start thinking that I made a decision to choose all the things that I have right now. It really empowers you to see that you can change your life. And I'll tell you why. I'll go back to the very first question about my redundancy. When 2 years before we got made redundant, people started leaving my office, getting new jobs. And although that was making way for me to grow, one of the my bosses who left said to me, "Don't stay too long, because they could see something, right?" And I guess we could all see it, but you choose. We make decisions. I chose to stay longer, right? I chose to stay to the very end. I chose to be, to stay there 1 year later and another year later. And so when at first, with the redundancy, I was thinking, feeling, oh, poor me, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
These people did this to me, and these people didn't pay me. These people held back benefits or whatever. And then, and God blessed me with the ability to see that no, you made the decision to join that company.
Ouch.
You made the decision to stay as long as you did. You made the decision to decide loyalty was important. I'm not saying that it was the right or wrong decision, but it was a decision I made.
Yeah.
And ultimately, and by when I embraced that I made that decision, and maybe I made it so that I would get here. But if I had changed my decision and changed it earlier, 2 years earlier, I might not be here, but I might not have lost I may not even know any.
Yeah.
I may be somewhere else.
Yeah.
But so God is able to use, bad things that happen, for his good as well. But it's important that you take full responsibility of the decisions that we make, even the things that we feel is not directly our fault. And for many people that happens. And that's why I gave that example as a redundancy, because it's so easy for anyone to see, especially in this season, this Corona season.
Yeah.
Very easy for people to see how a redundancy is not their fault. And it's very easy. It was very easy for me to see how it's not my fault. But and I'm not saying that it is or it isn't, but it was 100% my responsibility. And my life is my responsibility. The decisions I make is my responsibility. If I blame anyone else, then I'm unable to change them or to make a better decision next time.
Yeah, and that's so key, because decisions govern our lives. Our lives are where we are right now and where they could be because of decisions we're making or haven't made, or decisions we're making, and that's so important.
And having money is a decision.
Yes.
This idea, when you were talking about people don't know how to what was the word? People
Money.
They don't know how to have it, or they give it away. Obviously, by giving it away, you meant they get rid of it. I think you said that. Yeah, either by spending or whatever. They don't know how to hold. They don't know how to have it. Like you said.
That's so key. Because and it's because maybe it's largely because we don't understand it. We have a warped relationship with it, or we have a warped understanding of the purpose of money. Money as a tool. Some people spend it because they don't have discipline, because they feel like they want to acquire the next thing. Some people give it away and give so much of it away that they suffer. Or the families suffer, and maybe the reason for giving is good, but everything can be. Let me phrase this properly. Some people possibly give for the wrong motives. Some people may, the Bible speaks about, seed and, good soil and bad soil, right? Somebody who has an unhealthy, or not even unhealthy, misunderstanding of the use of money, for example, right, might go and sow in a bad soil when the Holy Spirit hasn't told you to, kind of thing. That can be a bad thing. You can give to the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And what you said is so key. Decisions.
Unless we take responsibility for our choices, if we leave it with somebody else, then we have an excuse not to change.
Yeah.
We have an excuse not to work in purpose. We have an excuse not to take a leap of faith.
And take a leap of faith and do the thing that we believe God wants us to do. So let's talk about Wealth from Little now. How your journey so far? How are you finding it? Is it what you expected? Now that you're in this space of finance and you're doing what you believe God wants you to do, how's the journey been so far? Is it what you expected? Is it easy, first of all?
Is it easy?
Yeah. Walking in this purpose.
When I started, I said to God that I don't want to work hard.
Okay.
I said that. I honestly did. It sounds ridiculous, right? I said, I don't want to work hard. I really don't. So make it easy. Make it easy.
Okay.
So when you said, is it easy? I wanted to say, yes, it is. And I'll say that because I enjoy talking about money. So it's easy. It's easy to talk about money. And that's what I do all day. I talk to people about money all day.
And there's a reason why God chose you, right? Knowing God clearly knows your background, knows how you feel about money, knows the strength you have about money, and there's a reason, and that's like we say, all things work together for good, and there's a reason why God chose you, because He knows that, look, this girl can do the job, right? And I can trust her with this wisdom and this gift, to be able to teach other people and bring them out of poverty, and do this for my glory. Would you say that?
Amen. Yes. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's easy in that sense.
Okay. All right. We've run out of time, so I'll just round up shortly. So what advice would you give to anyone who is trying to step into the purpose, right? The thing, the idea, the next level, the thing that they believe God wants them to do. What, just a summary, what ideas, what advice would you give to them, based on what you've been through in your journey?
I guess it depends on what exactly they want to step into.
Right.
I would say, if God has given you a vision, truly hold on to it. Believe that it's possible. Really do believe that it's possible. I think once you do believe that it's possible, things start to happen for you. I'm not saying like quit your job and jump in full time, full time. Like that happened to me, but that's because the job quit me.
She kicked you out, yeah.
The job quit me. So that makes things easy. But if you have a job that is supporting your financial goals, then you can balance both, and keep stepping out in faith. Literally, I would just say keep stepping out in faith. That's what I would say.
Make a decision.
And make a decision. Honestly, we live by our decisions. We do, and just deciding to be slightly better every day at whatever God has called you to. So God has given you a gift, or God has given you a craft, whether you're good at it already or you're not that great at it yet, just deciding to be responsible with that gift, and to improve yourself, to be better. Jesus was excellent in everything that He did, and He calls us to be excellent. And as we and when I'm saying excellence, I'm not talking about perfection. I'm just talking about just being slightly better than you were in anything that you did before. And I share this with my community consistently, that in all sports, and especially because I like athletics, or watching the athletics, or running particularly, no one's chasing me, but like I shared that in the 2016 Olympics, that between Usain Bolt and the guy who came 8th, it was like less than a 1% difference in their times. And if we can just be 1% better each day, or if it could make a huge difference. If the guy who came 8th was 1% better than he was, he would have been first, or joined first at least. And the guy who came second, Gaitlin, I think his name is, from America. So he was 0.25, so 0.25% slower, a quarter of a second. Sorry, he was a quarter slower than Usain Bolt. But whose name do we remember? Like, just for being that little bit better. And in the world that we live in now, it's so easy to just push yourself that little bit better, and you will see that it seems like you've catapulted in such a short time. It will seem like that if you just push yourself just even 1% better, because right now a lot of people like just be like, okay, let me just the word just be okay, just be is what a lot of people just want to be. They just want to be, let me just have my job, let me just be okay, let me just make this. No one wants to like go through the pain of being outstanding. And so I'm not even saying like pursue, which you can, but just 1% better, you'll be shining.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Okay, very quickly, how did you get to be an author? How did you get to be a co-author on the Fearlessly Faithful?
Yeah. So Elizabeth Buko, the person who compiled the book, she just reached out to me, I think on Facebook, and a few other people, and said, I want to write this book about based on the story of Daniel in the furnace, based on what's happening in 2020, and she was looking for people to co-author it with her.
Okay.
And I literally said, okay. I literally said it, but I didn't initially want to say it. I actually said no. I said, nah. Why? One, you want to write the book, then you're telling me, maybe she told me, give me 4 months. So she told me in August. And then then I didn't make a decision till October.
Right.
I was saying, no, I don't think so. Let me pray about it. I was just praying about it. No, I didn't get confirmation. It's not, I'm not a writer. It's not my thing, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
My sister encouraged me to do it. So you do need people around you, right? And
you have a blog, don't you?
I have a blog, yes.
Right, okay.
But yeah,
you didn't see yourself as an author. Yeah,
imagine. So I said all these things. I'm not an author. I don't even have the time. So many things going on. It's lockdown. I've got kids. And then I just finally said yes. And December came, the book came out, and it was like international bestseller in 5 countries. And it's been on so many blogs in the US mainly, that I'll be like, oh wow.
Wow.
It's God's using the book mightily.
Wow.
So how did I it was a decision. And just that simple decision, God just blessed it. Blessed it.
Wow. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. Author, speaker, writer. Wow. Congrats. Okay. So do you have any more, obviously you have a website, wealthfromlittle.com, right? Some people can go over there and
ElizabethBuko.com.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, that's good. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So my personal, my other website is www.elizabethbuko.com. And then my blog is on Wealth from Little. And and then I'm on Instagram at Wealth from Little. I'm also on Facebook at Wealth from Little. And I'm on Twitter. I'm hardly there.
But you don't use well, that's cool.
I stop by and say hi.
Yeah.
Once in a while.
Oh, that's good.
Wow, that's it. Thank you so much for again doing this. I'm so grateful. I pray God blesses your business, your endeavors. I pray God, causes you to causes your gift to make room for you, and bring you before great men, before kings and nobles and, world leaders. We're so proud of you. I know I'll see you on CNN one day or on the mainstream media, and, we're so proud of what God is using you for. We wish you well. We wish you well, your family, and we're so grateful. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Thank you, Sasha. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no worries.
It's been an honor.
The honor is mine. Thank you so much, Tomisi, or Elizabeth. It was strange calling you Elizabeth because
it must be.
I know, but thank you for Elizabeth Buko. Thank you so much. Please say hi to your husband and your children for us.
I definitely will.
Will do. Have a good evening. God bless you. Thank you.
Yes, you too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.